Hey, so if you're looking for a Lamborghini design, but you've only got the budget of a used Volkswagen Polo, then I've got good news for you. What I'm driving today was designed by the same guy who designed the Lamborghini Gallardo, the Lamborghini Murcielago, and the 2014 Bentley Flying Spur. But you can have one of these for less than a Volkswagen Polo used. You're in for a real treat today. So you probably think I'm crazy when I say you can get a Lamborghini design on the budget of a VW Polo used, but I'm not crazy. Here it is. This is the 2012 Seat Ibiza, and as you can see, this one here has the sunroof, which I'll talk about a bit later because it's absolutely pointless. But this car was actually designed by Luce Buzes something, a Belgian guy who worked for Seat and has worked at the VW Group and designed various cars, including the Lamborghini Murcielago, the Lamborghini Gallardo, and of course the 2014 Bentley Flying Spur. And all jokes aside, you can actually kind of see the influence with these lines down the side here. You know, things like this and this kind of indent, obviously going for a very sporty feel, so you can see why they used them. I also like these kind of lights. So imagine this is a Lamborghini Gallardo. If you just kind of turn those around, you'd have very similar lights. There's a lot of influences here. The grille as well. It kind of looks like a cat staring at you, some sort of tiger or whatever, but the eyes look a little bit demented. It's a really, really stylish car, especially in this white and black roof version. I think it's a really, really pretty car, and all the lines are really, really good. These rims are fantastic. I love these. Not so much this one, but that's something we won't talk about. If we come around the back as well, it's kind of got this kind of cheeky look to it that I like. So some of the newer cars look a little bit too happy at the back. I think this is kind of like, it looks slightly annoyed, because if you look, it kind of looks like the, you know, the eye here is kind of curved as if it's annoying you. And what I think about that, well, I think it's lovely. Yeah, so this is a beautiful car in the exterior. It's got this boot release here, which is just class, and actually quite a bit of space in the boot for an older car. Enough space for tire stuff, which obviously came in useful the last time. But yeah, really, really pretty car. So it's a bit of a mutt though. It's a Spanish brand built by a German car maker on the PQB platform, which is the same platform as the Polo and the Audi A1. It's very, very reliable, no problems there. But yeah, Seat brand, so Spanish, German automaker, Italian styling, done by a Belgian, and driven in Mexico by an Irish person. So yeah, that's an interesting one. So let's jump into the inside and take a look around. When it comes to the interior of this car, there's a lot to like about it as well. My favourite thing is how this dash curves towards you and gives kind of a really sporty driver's feel, akin to the way the BMW 3 Series was in the early 2000s, or most of the Alfa Romeos that you'd see today. So the really nice thing is, when you're sitting here, it feels like everything is focused towards you. And you've got obviously a 5-speed manual shifter here. Everything's really, really light. It's really easy to find everything. And obviously you've got your controls on the steering wheel, but the controls on the steering wheel on this are kind of weird. They're unlike a lot of things I've seen before, because normally they have them on the steering wheel itself. But in the case of this, they have this weird large stalk thing, which is strange for a 2012 car. I remember this was on Mercedes in around 2001, 2002, if I'm not mistaken. The stereo itself is lovely. A lot of different features here for you to play with. Auxiliary and you know, everything else built in. The auxiliary is down here, which is really strange. Now, one thing I do like about this car is it's got the controls for the windows on the windows, which is a nice change, because normally a lot of the cars of this era No, that's a lie. I'm thinking 2001. Doesn't matter. Forget about it, YouTube. But basically what I was trying to say is a lot of these cars have it in the center console, which is really, really irritating. You've got your lock features in the central console. Obviously, you've got the old things up here where you can blow air on yourself, which is good. Controls for the mirrors are up here and the same over here. And the cool thing about these is they're not actually electric by the looks of it, because the car can be off. They're good old-fashioned, just wired up, which isn't done a lot anymore. Now, there are some strange things about this car. First of all, the AC is just a button, which is strange for 2012. I mean, it does have like the controls of how much air and cold, but it's not digital, which is strange for 2012. The other strange thing about this car, like I said earlier, is the stalk. But if you want to see something really weird, let me just power this up first and you'll see what I mean. Yeah, so it's really, really strange. It has this overhead sunroof, but it doesn't actually go any further than that. So it just looks really, really weird. It goes up, it doesn't go back. Gonna open the sunroof now. La da 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 da. That's it. That's the only other car that I've seen this on was a BMW Z3 from back in the day, which really weird comparison. So yeah, it goes up, but it doesn't go back. So what's the point? Yeah. Really, really strange. Jumping into the back, we've got the 3 seats across. The middle is kind of useless because of the transmission tunnel, which is quite annoying. But there's lots and lots of headroom unless you're over 6 foot, which I am not. So yeah, to be honest, the back of this is akin to a Polo or anything like that. So there's not really much to talk about. The back seats are ever so slightly reclined, which gives a nice feel, and it's actually not too bad for long journeys. There isn't there is only windy windows in the back. There isn't any of the fancy electrics that the newer models will have. One thing I will point out, these plastic door handles are very easily snapped, and actually one has been replaced on this car already, so that's something to look out for if you're going to buy one of these. But otherwise, nothing really to speak of here. It's just a pretty normal car. One other cool feature of this car is, oh no, I've left the window and sunroof open. I'll have to go back to the car. No, you won't. No, you won't. There we go. Can never get that first time. So, now we're out for a drive. This car itself, the one I'm driving right now, has 164,000 miles on it, hence why it's got this cover, because underneath this, it's just basically smooth, which, you know, doesn't look great on a car. First impressions of driving this thing is the suspension is really, really good. It's not really a massive surprise given it's from the VW group. They tend to do things high quality. But, you know, one of the things that I talked about in the interior really, really points itself in favor when you get into the car and start driving. And it's this driver-centric feel where everything's kind of pointed towards you. And then you've got the sporty dash icons. Like I said, this is a Lamborghini on a budget. Sorry about the glare on the screen. It's just, I'm in Mexico. It's 30 odd degrees. Going down a little bit of a highway and can't adjust the camera. So when it comes to the other parts of driving this car, one of the main things is this has the 2-litre petrol that was only available in Mexico. Everywhere else in the world got at most a 1.8 litre. This 2-litre itself pushes slightly over 100 horsepower, and it's really, really nice actually. It's very comfortable to drive, and there's a lot of torque and power on it. So you can't really go wrong with this particular engine. And, you know, in one of the videos I will be releasing a little bit later in the week, I drove a 2019 Seat Ibiza, one of these cars. But the difference is, That was a 1.2 litre TFSI. Now it's got more than enough power for most people, but the pickup on this, with it being a 2 litre, is just way nicer. And I really like driving this. It just adds to the whole sporty feel of the car. Now this particular car that I'm driving today has the 2 litre petrol engine, which is only available here in Mexico, or was only available here in Mexico, should I say. On top of that, you sit really low down, so you've got that nice sporty feel, and the acceleration is really good. It's a torquey little car, because it weighs absolutely nothing. Not like the newer cars, like the 2018s, 2019s, where they're a lot heavier, and also the engine choices are generally down to the 1.2 or 1.6. Now they are TFSI, but this thing just has a nice pulling power to it, and you know, you feel very comfortable putting your foot down in this. Now, another thing that I love about this car is how it feels in the corners. It handles really well, and it gives you a lot of confidence, especially when you have that 2 litre engine here, and it's very Golf GTI-esque or Polo GTI-esque, I would assume, given the PCQ frame this is built on. As far as I know, that's what it's called. So this is the same base as a Audi A1 or a Volkswagen Polo, so it's really well built, and gives you a lot of confidence in terms of its reliability as well. Throwing this into the corners is a lot of fun because it handles it really well. Funny enough, there's an Audi A1 just passing me now, and again, the suspension is stiff but comfortable. It's not overly stiff like it is in a lot of the newer cars, where they're really pushing that sporty feel, but it just doesn't work. It just becomes uncomfortable. And actually the Seat range tend to be quite easy going on that. For example, again, the 2019 Seat Ibiza really holds up well there in terms of suspension, and you'll see that on Friday. I think I'm launching the video for that. I've got something else planned for Wednesday. So that's the video for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll have another video on Wednesday. Every week is going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, if I possibly can. There may be some weeks where I can't get the car, but I'm going to try my best. So yeah, thank you for that. Head over to jasonhassett.com if you want to read some articles, or you'll find everything I'm doing now posted on DRIVETRIBE.com, because I absolutely love DRIVETRIBE.com, and if you haven't checked it out already, definitely worth signing up for. I think you'll really enjoy it. Apologies for the lighting. I'm now driving against the sun, which really sucks. So thanks for watching, guys. Talk to you soon.